Next thing, you must have read lot of spiritual books. You must have heard lot of spiritual discourses. You must have heard enough of intellectual knowledge about spirituality. If you bring everything inside with you in your head, you will not be able to understand what I say. Once a professor went to a Zen master, an enlightened man. The professor asked the master, Master, teach me what is Zen? What is meditation? Zen means what is meditation? The master ordered for a tea. When the tea cups and tea is brought, he started just pouring the tea in the cup. After 1 minute, the cup started overflowing. The professor asked him, Stop, master, why are you pouring? It's overflowing. Then the master explained, you see, if the tea is already in the cup, whatever I pour will only overflow. Just like that, if you have your own idea in your head, whatever I say only will overflow. Just as you wanted, if the tea should be filled, the cup should be empty. If you want to know what is Zen, what is meditation, your head should be empty. The problem with already earned knowledge is, it is purely intellectual. If it is experiential, we don't need any more meditation. Whatever you have learned is not about the enlightenment. It is just about not the enlightenment itself. A small story can explain to you. Once Vivekananda was relaxing in the bank of Ganga. Somebody came, an elderly man, a pandit, came and told Vivekananda, you see, I am staying in Calcutta for last 60 years. I am the greatest pandit. Every day morning I take bath in Ganga and do all Gayatri Sandhya. I am the greatest saint in Calcutta. Then Vivekananda just laughed at him and told him, just by taking bath in Ganga, if you will become saint, the fishes in the Ganga are the greatest saints in the world. He just made fun of him and then he sent him out. And he told, when the Pandit left, the Vivekananda told, you see, just taking bath in Ganga will not make you saint. Go and meditate, look inside, that only can make you seer, a rishi. Then that old man got some message. He was honest enough to understand. He went and started meditating. Then one young man came to him. The young man started asking, Oh Swamiji, I am very happy that you are not accepting all old superstitions, taking bath in Ganga, all those superstitions, you are removing everything, you are helping the people to come out of all these superstitions, all this type of... he was condemning the ancient tradition of India, the young man. Then again Vivekananda rebuked him, telling, who said taking bath in Ganga is superstition? I myself sprinkle Ganga water every day and I sit in the bank of Ganga and meditate every day. Who said taking bath in Ganga is superstition? Go and pray to Ganga Mata every day morning. Sit and meditate in the banks of Ganga. You will have spirituality. Then the young man also got some clarity and he went. There was a disciple who was sitting at the feet of Swamiji, seeing both the scenes. He got confused. He asked Swamiji, what is this Swamiji? For one man you are giving one idea, one instruction. For the other man, within half an hour, you changed your instruction and you are giving some other advice. What is truth? What can I follow? What actually you mean? Then Vivekananda just laughed and told him, that is for him, this is for him. For you, massage my feet. You see, each and every man needs an instruction, needs a spiritual advice according to his place, his way of life, his understanding. Spiritual advice can never be the same. Technique can never be the same for all. It needs to little bit of adjustment or alteration, a change for each and every individual to give a quick growth, immediate result. The technique still needs to be altered for individuals. So whenever you have read anything, whatever you have read, all those things are only part. If you read about Vivekananda's advice from a book written by an old elderly man, what you will understand about Vivekananda? A man who is out of tradition, modern. You will understand about Vivekananda as a modern man. If you read from the book which is written by a young man, that young boy, what you will understand about Vivekananda? Man who is traditional, Swami who is traditional. Both are not truth. They are only half-truths. The same way, whatever you have read, whatever you have heard, whatever has not become our experience is only a half-truth. Half-truth is much worse than a lie. At least with a lie, you will know it is a lie. With half-truth, it is a difficulty. You will not even be able to understand whether it's a truth or a lie. So, if you have already some knowledge, what you will be doing? You will be sitting here and comparing what I say. Intellectually, you will be just comparing. Yes, what the Swami says is right. Bhagavad Gita also says the same thing. Purana also says the same thing. You will be just comparing and accepting what I say. Or you will be comparing and rejecting. No, what he says is not exactly truth. Purana says in the other ways. If you reject also, you will not do the meditation. If you accept also, yes, what he says is right. What we have read also same thing. You will start believing me, but you will not start doing what I say. You see, if you resist me also, you will not do. If you start believing me also, you will not do. That is the thing you need to understand. It is a subtle thing you need to understand a little bit. You can ask, if I believe you, how will you say that I won't do it? The belief closes your personality. Sort of you take me for granted. Yes, what Swami says is right. But these are not for me now. Let me postpone a little bit. Let me wait. It is all. When in the old age, it will be useful. It will be useful. We just postpone. If you believe anything, you don't act immediately. You just postpone. If you understand very deeply, you will be able to understand. If you believe any scripture, what you do immediately? You have believed so many books, but has it transformed your life? Has anything has happened in your life? You have believed so many things. You have believed so many gods. You have believed so many scriptures. You have believed so many masters. What has happened? Did you do something in your life? Neither belief nor unbelief. Neither doubt nor faith. Both will not do. I say new word. Look at the whole thing as a hypothesis. Give a trial, that's all. I never say believe me, or I never say don't believe me. Have a positive doubt. Yes, let me give a chance. He says something, let me give a trial. That is what is the right attitude. When you enter into the spirituality, give a trial. Never go with faith. When you go with faith, you are already taking things for granted. You don't do it completely. If you start believing, you don't do it completely. If you start taking the things for granted, you think, I have already faith, why should I do anything? No. You don't open up completely if you have the faith. If you have belief. So go with a trial mood. Yes, let me give a trial. What can be done? Let me see. So go with the mood of young kid, a small boy, he sent to the school first day. He goes with a lot of curiosity. He goes with a idea what it is. Let me see. So Come, sit here, what it is, let me see, let me give a trial. Never think, oh, I know this already. Never feel, yes, I heard about this already. No, we have not heard. If we have heard at least once in a right way, the right message, we don't need any more necessity of listening anything. Only once a right listening is enough to become enlightened. Shravana is enough for samadhi. We have not heard rightly. We have heard as we wanted. That is the reason nothing has happened in us. So when you listen, at least this time, don't miss. Again and again, many times you have listened. Now let us not miss. Let us go with a little bit of open mind. Sort of trial. We'll give a trial to the things. Once a king went to a master. He wants to see that master, enlightened man. So he sent his visiting card, which says his name, the Yakuzen, governor of Japan. He was the governor of Japan. He sent his card to the master through his disciples. Please give this card to your master. I want to see him. When the card was brought to him, he said, the card reads, Yakuzen, governor of Japan. The master read that card. He told, I have no business with this man. Please send him out. I don't want to meet him. When the card was given to the king with these same words, master doesn't want to meet you. He has no business with you. The king is a very intelligent man. He gave a thought for a moment. Then he erased the word governor of Japan. Just send the word with his name. Send the same card with his name. Please now give this card to your master. I want to meet him. When the card was brought back, the same card, only the title is erased. When the card was brought back, master told, yes, now you can come and meet me. Let me meet him. Let me see. Let me talk to him what he wants. The small story, what is significant behind the story? If you have your own society in you, the post given by the society in you, you will not be able to learn what is meditation, the prestige, or whatever titles given to you by the society. It is only for utility. Never think you are a doctor. Society wants you, society utilizes you as a doctor. Your utility is doctor, you are not the doctor. Please be aware, we identify ourselves with our titles. We identify ourselves with our titles. When you identify yourselves with your titles, you miss your being. The juice of your being is lost. So, never identify yourself with your titles. When you are here, never think that you have some title or the society. If you just hang around with your title, you will not be able to completely involve your meditation into the technique. When you do it completely. No question of jumping off the well. Completely put yourself, stake yourself completely into the meditation. Don't have any reservation. If you have your own titles, you will be having some reservation. No question of reservation. And give few minutes for the meditation to happen. Many people, see, we are in the world of the instant food. Everybody wants in 20 minutes, the God in 20 minutes. Now so many books have come up which says instant enlightenment or instant God. People think that things can happen only in few minutes. Somebody came and told me, I was giving a discourse, meditate, you will have the God in your vision. She came and told me, Swamiji, I have done 20 minutes of meditation, but God has not appeared at all. I told her, God is not waiting for your 20 minutes meditation. Give little bit of space, give a little bit of time for the meditation to happen in you. At least next 36 hours till tomorrow evening. Allow things to happen. Allow things to take place, take shape in your own being, in its own way. A small story can explain. Once 3 monkeys in the forest, they have got a mango. All the 3 monkeys wants to eat that mango. One monkey told, see, this one mango we cannot share and eat, all 3 of us cannot eat. We will plant this mango so that the tree will come. From the tree we will have lot of mangoes. We all can eat as much as we want. All the 3 monkeys have decided, yes, we will have. We will plant this mango. One monkey took up the responsibility of pouring water every day. The other monkey took the responsibility of putting the fertilizer. The third took the responsibility of security. He will stand throughout the day and he will be the watchman, guard. After 6 months of hard work, they saw the seed is not sprout. The tree has not come up. They all the 3 gathered for a meeting. They started discussing. The first monkey told, you see, every day morning, religiously, without any break, I poured water. I don't know why it is not coming up. The next monkey told, yes, every day morning, I put the fertilizers and I have never missed even one day. I do not know why it is not sprouted. The third monkey told, every day evening, I dig up and see again and again whether it has come up or not. But I do not know why it has not sprouted. See, putting the water or putting the fertilizer is not enough. Give a little bit of space for it to sprout. The same way, just doing one meditation or just doing 2 meditations, don't check up with yourself. Just give time till tomorrow evening. Allow whatever is happening. If you dig up after every meditation, it will be just like the monkey. What the monkey has done, you will be doing the same thing. Don't do that till tomorrow evening. Till tomorrow evening, forget everything else and just go with the meditations. Put your whole effort in all the meditations. See, the mind and meditations are anti. Like mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, they can't stay together. How much ever you try, whatever you do, they can't stay together. Just like that, mind and meditation can never stay together. Mind will try its best not to allow you to enter into meditation. It will tell, I have pain here a little bit. I have pain here a little bit. I think for one session I can go and rest. It is not wrong. I can come for the next session. No, these are the tactics of the mind. When you enter into meditation, you reach the zone of no mind, where your mind cannot survive, where the base of your mind is lost. You are in the ecstasy. Mind is always against ecstasy. Mind, the root of the mind is worry and depression. Without depression and worry, mind cannot exist. When you enter into meditation, the depression and worry will be taken away from you. Mind is not ready to lose that. The property which is acquired by mind is worry. It works so hard to acquire the worries and depression. And so many years it has worked so hardly and collected this property. It doesn't want to let go the worries and let go the depression. But the meditation is the energy which will take all your worries and depression from you.